There's a short list of men in Hollywood history who didn't just play tough, they were tough, and Clint Eastwood was one of them. But here's what most people don't talk about. The man had taste in machines that matched his taste in roles. Not flashy, not fragile, fast, purposeful, and unmistakably American. And while the world debated his best films, Eastwood reportedly had a quiet obsession with something that roared just as loud as any gunshot on the silver screen: open-top American muscle. So today, we're going back to the 1960s, the golden decade of American performance, and we're counting down the 6 fastest convertibles of that era that a man like Clint Eastwood could love. Buckle up, this one's gonna move. The 1960s were something else entirely. America was hungry for speed, for freedom, for the feeling of wind through the cabin and pavement blurring underneath you. Detroit answered that hunger with machines that felt alive. And somewhere in that decade, Eastwood, a man known to appreciate raw mechanical honesty over unnecessary luxury, was building his own story with cars. Reports suggest he was associated with vehicles that matched his no-nonsense personality. But to understand those choices, you have to understand the era. And the era started with this. Number 1, 1962 Chevrolet Corvette convertible. If the 1960s had a mascot, it wore fiberglass and breathed through a Rochester fuel injection system. The 1962 Corvette convertible was the final year of the first generation, and it went out swinging. With a 327 cubic inch V8 pushing up to 360 horsepower in its most aggressive tune, this car was quicker than almost everything sharing the road with it. No back seat, no compromises, just a low hood, a short deck, and the kind of exhaust note that made people stop mid-conversation. For a man like Eastwood, who was making spaghetti westerns at the time and hadn't yet become a household name, this car wasn't a status symbol. It was a statement, and it was only the beginning. Number 2, 1963 Galaxie 500 convertible. Here's something people forget. Before the Mustang changed everything, Ford was running experiments in brute force. The 1963 Galaxie 500 convertible, equipped with the legendary 427 cubic inch Ford V8, was a full-size American ragtop that could lay down quarter-mile times that embarrassed much sportier-looking competitors. It wasn't subtle, it was big, it was wide, and it moved with the kind of authority that matched the decade's mood perfectly. Reports from that era suggest the Galaxie was quietly one of the most respected performance machines on American roads, not because it was glamorous, but because it was brutally effective. And that is a quality Eastwood's entire career was built on. Number 3, 1964 Pontiac GTO convertible. Now we're getting into territory where the story changes. Because when Pontiac dropped the GTO in 1964, it didn't just introduce a car, it introduced an idea. The idea that a mid-size body could carry a full-size engine, specifically a 389 cubic inch Ford V8, and turn the whole American performance conversation upside down. The GTO convertible was the kind of car that made young men rethink their future plans. With tri-power carburation, it produced 348 horsepower in street trim, and it pulled through corners with a confidence that its critics said was impossible. The GOAT, as enthusiasts called it, became a cultural landmark. And for a man with Eastwood's sensibility, quiet confidence hiding serious capability, the GTO convertible was practically autobiographical. Number 4, 1965 Shelby Cobra 427. Stop before you say it. Yes, technically the Cobra is more roadster than traditional convertible, but it belongs on this list, and here's why. There has never been, in the history of American automotive engineering, a more honest machine. Carroll Shelby stuffed a 427 cubic inch Ford V8 into a body that weighed barely over 2,000 pounds. The result was a car that reportedly hit 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds in 1965. That number still holds up today. Driving a Cobra wasn't an experience, it was a negotiation. You told it where you wanted to go, and it decided how dramatically it would get you there. Reports suggest Eastwood had a deep appreciation for vehicles with genuine mechanical character, not manufactured image. The Cobra had nothing but character.
Number 5, 1967 Chevrolet Camaro RS SS convertible. If the muscle car era had a peak year, 1967 might be it, and the Camaro RS convertible, introduced as Chevrolet's answer to the Mustang, arrived with a level of polish that surprised everyone. Under the Rally Sport's hidden headlights lived engines ranging from the 350 small block all the way up to the thunderous 396 cubic inch big block, producing 375 horsepower in its most aggressive configuration. But it wasn't just the power. The Camaro had proportion. It looked like it was moving, even standing still. Open top, twin exhausts, and that signature long hood, giving the driver the feeling that they were sitting at the very center of something purposeful. Eastwood was deep into his career by '67, and this car fit the moment, refined on the surface, serious underneath. Number 6. 1969 Pontiac Firebird 400 convertible. And now we arrive at the payoff, the one that closes the decade with authority. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird 400 convertible is, by almost any measure, the perfect synthesis of everything the 1960s tried to say about American performance. The 400 cubic inch V8 pushing 335 horsepower, the Ram Air options pushing even further, a body that aged better than almost anything Detroit produced that decade, and a top-down driving experience that felt cinematic, genuinely, unapologetically cinematic. Reports have long associated Eastwood with Pontiac's muscle lineage, and the Firebird 400 represents the pinnacle of that connection. It was the last great statement of a decade that defined what fast, open-air American motoring could feel like before emissions regulations and safety legislation began reshaping the landscape permanently. Here's what's interesting about all 6 of these machines. None of them were trying to impress you. They were trying to perform. There's a difference that most people never appreciate until they felt it firsthand. A car designed to impress is loud about what it costs. A car designed to perform is quiet about everything except what it does. It doesn't need chrome trim to tell you it's serious. It doesn't need a badge on the hood to justify its existence. You find out what it is the moment you press the accelerator and the world behind you becomes a blur. And that distinction, functionality over fashion, capability over cosmetics, is reportedly the thread that ran through every vehicle associated with Clint Eastwood throughout his life. Because men who've spent years performing under pressure, whether on a film set or behind the wheel on a winding California road, tend to develop an instinct for what's real and what's decoration. They stop being impressed by things that are only trying to look impressive. They start gravitating toward things that simply, quietly do the work. Every car on this list did the work. The Corvette didn't apologize for its aggression. The GTO didn't soften its power delivery for sensitive ears. The Cobra didn't pretend to be comfortable. These machines asked something of their drivers: attention, respect, commitment. And in return, they gave back an experience that no amount of modern technology has fully replicated. There was a conversation happening between driver and machine in the 1960s that was brutally honest. No electronic assists smoothing over your mistakes, no algorithms predicting your next move, just torque, weight, and your own instincts against the road. The 1960s ended and took something with it. That particular combination of raw mechanical ambition, open-top freedom, and pure American confidence never quite came back in the same form. Safety regulations arrived, emissions standards reshaped engine design. The muscle slowly left the muscle car. What replaced it was often more refined, more efficient, and considerably less alive. The cars on this list aren't just fast machines from a forgotten era. They're artifacts of a moment when this country believed it could build anything, go anywhere, and move faster than its own shadow. When Detroit dreamed in cubic inches and the open road still felt genuinely limitless, and a certain man from San Francisco, squinting into the California sun with a V8 beneath him, reportedly agreed.